House Theatre, just over the road back in the 80s, and he and I have been putting together, some writing, and I'm going to do a couple of monologues from it, just over the next few minutes, and this is all about how myth and history intersect in our great city of London. And the first monologue goes like this. Who is this woman? No one knows. She calls herself Jenny Caution. Does she represent a myth? It is by myth makers that Jenny began to create her image outside the ruins of Troy. Rumours spread she had seen many things and experienced so much sadness she began to hallucinate. Her visions became prayers. She spoke of a world populated by ruins. Even people became ruins. Ruins would create a new human experience. She wanted to hear the winds blowing through the decayed remnants of dead civilizations because she wanted to hear a new music, a new poetry, a poetry of disaster. In this crystal night of heightened expectations, Jenny Caution sleeps peaceful in the certainty that all that was is just the beginning. And this beginning will close the gates which protect this savage landscape, a landscape which has given birth to all the savage beginnings which never rest, because beginnings are just a start in the sphere of vengeance. Sense is made with honesty. In her sleep, Jenny lives inside herself. She sleeps with new voices. There will be war, and the war will be glorified in music and poetry. It will look stupendous, a fashion show in blood. There have been times when Jenny tried to see nothing. She creeps into the shadows and only finds outlines of her despicable parents. Jenny Caution doesn't dream. Why should she dream? She always boasted she was born that way, but was she born? She would say she is a ghost. A goddess ghost who walked with the new Olympians, those all-powerful gods and goddesses who destroyed a whole civilization. This was Jenny Caution's environment, an hallucination, a nightmare world of Warcraft. There are still moments when Jenny Caution would create skeleton landscapes deep in the amphitheatre of her soul. She wanted to experience a new kind of death. She needed to walk in a pathway called death. There's a deep unhappiness in this murderous quest. In a future place, Jenny Caution is gazing out into the night, watching another tired group of refugees moving silently and slowly through the ruins of a vast metropolis. She is alone. Loneliness is her constant companion, her lover, her hate, her sleep, her childhood. Loneliness is her quest. From her loneliness she gathers her strength. A terrible existence is alive. Time floats past. All the while she is immersed in this knowledge of a sin, she is losing control of her own history. The sin is like a double-faced nightmare, but she was there on that night when the sin started unfolding the labyrinth in her child's soul. She sips a malt whiskey from her ancient cut-glass tumbler. Her eyes return to that child she once was. Jenny Caution takes the hand of her child's self, and together they walk out onto a balcony and both look down at the chaos below them. The metropolis is now vanishing into its own oblivion. There are no stories to remember. The quest begins its rebirth. The sin gives birth to a ritualistic sacrifice, and the war becomes rekindled. In a fading future, time will be put on hold, because the future is already buried in myth. Why is there something there when there should be nothing there? Medusa threw a web of protection over the young Jenny Caution. You see, Jenny was never a girl, never a child. Her parents never spoke to her. Why should they have spoken to her? She knew one day she would have to hunt them down and kill them. She was a strange girl. This girl who wasn't born to be a part of this world, who came into this world fully formed. Medusa was her sister self, the invisible shadow. She is protected by the night. She breathed the night. She would become the midnight walker, the unseen assassin. She needed the proximity of war. This was her curse. The Olympians have her this pleasure because they loved watching the suffering of someone whose life was just another crack from heaven. But Athena intervened. Why? Such things neither are, nor can be, nor have been. The eyes of the serpent look down from the asylum. The heat is rising. The heat is on. The march toward the sin is a path leading towards hysteria. Now, The stage is set. The memory, the magic of drama, and tragic truths or untruths will unfold within this austere theatre, where memory and fantasy coexist like lovers, trapped in a deathly embrace which portrays the moment, the exact moment when the sin blossoms into the richness of a long-delayed act of vengeance. The Olympians enjoy watching humans act out their own drive towards destruction. Everything is set. The skies have been in a state of trembling uncertainty for 3 days. There is no night nor day in this drama. The skies are the colour of rusty armour. For 3 days, thousands of birds have been falling on this small field called Aulis. All the while, the vast Armada is deathly still. Brave men demands the ultimate sacrifice. Brave men want immediate satisfaction. Brave men want a war, a special war. The murmurs and rumours begin to spread. Something feels unreal. The Olympians understand the reasoning of unreasonable warriors. Give them a sacrifice, a human, innocent virgin child. Let the king sacrifice his only child. Then and only then can war unfold. Death, treason and sorrow are on the march again, and they move in the wake of storms, of tears and stillness. Outside this reality, new transgressions are born. Wild dreams, miracles and superstitions have invaded this world of mad realities. A crack in heaven appears. The young Jenny wakes with her body shaking as if an earthquake had ripped through her mind, travelled from their dreams into this other reality, the faceless women with snakes fighting amongst themselves on her head. The shadow women who wear such beautiful garments, her arms immaculately tattooed in patterns of flowers, of dolphins, of young boys dancing over the horns of bulls. Jenny Caution is alone with thoughts which crack open the secrets of the cosmos. She lived alone with thousands of other people's histories. True gods never die. A dream could belong to another dream. Anything can happen. Death, treason and sorrow are on the march again, and they move in the wake of storms of tears and stillness. Outside this dream reality, new transgressions are taking place. Miracles and superstitious ravings have invaded this future world. Jenny Caution gazes at her image in her mirror, her favourite mirror, her teenage mirror. Teenage? How many centuries ago was that eerie expression used? Now, in these intoxicating times, everything becomes meaningful. Memories return. Memories become sensations. Jenny Caution stares at her own image, which stares back at her. Who are you? She asks this image. She turns away from the image in the mirror and turns away from her face. She looks around the room. She smiles with satisfaction. She is not looking at a room. She's gazing into a monumental palace carved into a mountain, and the mountain rises up into the clouds, and the clouds reach into heaven. Soon, she will declare war on heaven in the domain of the radiant cool.